Tuesday, September 5th was the start of the 2017 Sport Horse Arabian and Half-Arabian Championship Horse Show in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we couldn't be more excited. We caught up with AHA's Executive Vice President, Glenn Petty, about some of the history of Sport Horse Nationals, and Chris Brickford, who came all the way from Oregon to compete in carriage driving. Here are their two stories.
I'm Glenn Petty. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Arabian Horse Association. I'm from North Carolina, and actually I built this complex. I was state horse specialist here since the early 70s, and then during that time built this facility, and then I ran it until I retired in 1999. I managed horse shows all over the country, and Region 12 Championship being one of them, and that's how I happened to among some other Arabian shows that I managed, how I came to AHA. Sport Horse 15 years ago was incorporated within U.S. Nationals, and the disciplines within Sport Horse grew so much that it warranted being a separate horse show. And since splitting off and being a separate horse show, it has done nothing but grow. And here at the grounds at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds at the Governor Hunt Horse Complex, I just checked with the stall office, and we fill 715 stalls. It's been on the East Coast, and as you know, Sport Horse rotates. One year it's on the west of the Mississippi, the other time east of the Mississippi. And North Carolina is actually geographically a great place up and down the East Coast. But it has been at the Kentucky Horse Park, it has been at the Virginia Horse Center, and now here. And so it fits that same mold of being geographically in the central Atlantic states. Oh, it's wonderful. And one of the things when we worked with the General Assembly in North Carolina to build it was being able to draw national horse shows. And the state fair is very proud that this show is here. Well, I think just continue to grow. The sport horse disciplines all the divisions are growing, and the sport horse is somewhat unique to some of our other national championships in that there's a lot more 1, 2, and 3 horse stables that come to sport horse, and a lot of folks do their horses themselves. They don't have a professional trainer, or at least a full-time professional trainer. So to me, sport horse is very much hands-on by the owner. You know, everyone's unique, but the folks here, it just seems like they have a personal touch with their horses, and very much enjoyable. I would almost say this morning, the first day of a very large show, and it started virtually without a hitch. All the officials are here, all the systems are working. The web streaming, they were working on that the very first thing when they started to turn it on. But other than that, all the rings are just smooth as can be, and that's good. It's something that the show commission should be, and staff should be very proud of. If you're coming as a spectator, there's a variety of disciplines that you don't normally see at some of our normal horse shows. But here we have, you know, carriage, dressage, the hunter jumpers, sport horse in hand, that to a degree is unique.
I'm Chris Brickford. We live just barely south of Portland, Oregon. At one time we had many horses. We had a full training stable. Today we own 4 of our own horses, which we show in carriage driving. And I've got a young filly that's growing up that hopefully will make a pleasure driving horse for the main ring. I first came to Sport Horse in 2006. I judged it in 2007, and I've been showing every year since. We started and left home on Sunday. We got to Lexington, Kentucky Wednesday evening. We stayed there until Sunday, and it's just not quite a full day's drive down here. It's about 7 or 8 hours down here. So driving days, we spent 5 days driving, but we rested the horses for 3 days in Kentucky. Because when you're hauling a horse, it's the same thing as them being at a continuous walk the whole time. And it is, if they're not in real good condition, physically it's extremely hard on them. So one of our big things is to be certain that our horses are in the best condition we can present them in. The carriage people here are wonderful. There's a gentleman by the name of Darrell Wood, which shows in carriage driving. He's extremely competitive, and he's a wonderful guy to compete with. And so we come back, my wife and I are enjoying our carriage horses. We enjoy showing them and competing. Some of our classes are rail classes. Some of them are speed classes. The speed classes, you take all the arbitrary judging out of it. You either make your time or you don't. And the fastest one will win, barring any faults. That part of it changes the total outlook, where it's not just one person's opinion or 3 people's combined opinion. You either make it across the starting line or you don't. Not since we showed the first time, like I say, in 2006. The only time I didn't compete was 2007 because I judged it. It was in Lexington, Kentucky, and I judged the carriage driving there. But every other year we have competed. We had a full training stable where we had halter horses, English pleasure horses, pleasure driving horses. We did that for many years. I've had numerous reserve national champions, and one particular, I had a young lady who was the youngest rider to have ever won an open national championship. She was 10 years old, and she won the open side saddle class. And that was Stacy Stewart. She was just an amazing young lady. They hired me to judge the Sport Horse Nationals in 2007. So I decided I better go to there, and I took one of my other horses. I borrowed a carriage, I borrowed a harness, and we went to Sport Horse Nationals when they were in Napa that year. And he was national champion in the working division. And that winter, my wife on eBay had bought 3 carriages and 4 sets of harness, and she was hooked, and we've been doing it ever since, and just having a blast doing it. We're having a lot of fun. We meet the most wonderful people, and the one thing about the carriage division, if somebody is having trouble, they've got 6 or 7 people there to help them, and they all work together. Yes, we compete, but we're all friends.
Join us on Wednesday for more of the exciting classes Sport Horse has to offer. See you tomorrow.